painter for over 40 years, and I've worked in many mediums, pastel, watercolor, oil pastel, experimental printmaking, and but for the last 30 years I've been working in pastel. I awarded this lovely piece, Twilight, first place in watercolor. It's a display of a beautiful use of the medium, wet and dry, and these light passages. It's very skillfully done. There's a lot of wash, yet there's a lot of intentional marking. It's just a beautifully successful piece. The composition, the color, everything, the treatment. So this one, entitled Bear, is the second place. I thought there was some beautiful use of colors in the shadows, and the choice of colors across the color wheel. This muted purple just makes this yellowish brown come alive, and it's obviously the bear is looking right at you, but yet it's a soft, gentle kind of composition, and I love the way they treated the background, just floated the colors out to the side. So this one is entitled Madrona, and at first when I looked at it I didn't know quite what to think, and then I realized that it's not necessarily a painting of the Madrona. There are two types of painting. Painting like and feeling like is what my professor in college called it, and this is a perfect example of that. This feels like a Madrona. It doesn't necessarily look like one so much. I mean, it looks like maybe it's a grove of Madrona, but it just says Madrona. And it's the warmth, the color, and the composition is interesting. I just thought the way that it was presented, elongated, and in this simple frame, I just thought it was such a delightful piece. So this piece, Poppy, I chose for honorable mention. It's just a happy piece. You have this on your wall, you can't help but feel good about it. There are some beautiful nuances in the petals and color changes, very subtle color changes, and then this dramatic dark that's not in the center, it's just placed exactly where it should be. And it's light, it feels like flower petals that you can almost see through in the background. So this is the drawing category. I awarded this one first. There are a lot of different strokes and different textures that are taken into consideration here. I thought both pieces were very nice, but this one just shows a little more thought, a little more skill and variation. And the round format, very interesting. You wouldn't expect that. And I love that it goes beyond the borders. This one is exquisitely done, very soft. And you can see the strokes are very well thought out. And it's a very sensitive piece, even though it's a wild animal. So it's a very nice piece. Okay, this is the three-dimensional category. I was really taken by this guy. It's glass and mixed media, and they're typewriter parts. So I just love to see something like this where someone recognizes a material as an art medium, and how he's arranged it and how he's so cleverly used all these pieces that mimic the parts of whatever this creature is. I'm not sure, but but it's delightful and it's very well done. The craftsmanship is excellent. Okay, and second place, right here, yeah. So there's a lot to be said about presentation, and this one is right on. All of these pieces are handmade and fused glass, and there's such variation, and they're very sensitively done, but with a sense of humor. And I love this washboard. Beautiful little bowl. So from ceramics, my limited time working in ceramics, I realized how difficult this is to bring this up and not have it collapse, and it's very uniform. The glaze is beautiful, and then there's this nice surprise on the inside, this subtle blue that you wouldn't expect that goes beautifully with it. And it's not easy to do a lid. So yeah, I really like that piece. So this guy had to be mentioned, right? He has such a sense of humor. I would love to see this in maybe cement in the park. I think the kids would really enjoy this. So you can tell he was really deeply involved in his work, and it just makes you smile. It's called Big Sunny Day, and you can't possibly not be affected and not have a big sunny day after you see this guy. He's doing some recycling in the woods, and he's got a little pet crow, and I just thought it was delightful. Yeah. This is the two-dimensional mixed media category. I chose this as the first place. At first I kind of went by it. That gold is a little bit overpowering, but when you look in these delicate areas how beautifully rendered these birds are, and the choice of musical score in the background I thought was just delightful, and this feather here is painted as well. It's just a really, really sweet, whimsical, but very well done, finely done piece. Okay, this one, I almost walked right by this piece until I was drawn in. There's a lot going on in the background. It looks like there's magazine pieces in the back with print on them. Just adds a little dimension. Then you can see there's cloth underneath here with little fibers, and this part of the flower becomes three-dimensional. There are a lot of surprises. And it's acrylic and photography, so I assume this is the photographic part, but it looks more like a painting. It was just, I think, a real good treatment. I don't know what this is, part of the leaf, I guess. I thought it was beautiful, and all these subtleties in the background. I chose this one for third place. I just thought it was simply elegant. It's something that would be nice to have hanging in your house. It has these really calm areas, resting places for your eye, and I think that in terms of spattering, this is probably a real good example of a good use, and it was warranted. It wasn't just an afterthought. I like the way that it just sort of moves your eye through. It's very pleasant. So I chose this as honorable mention. I wasn't quite sure about this. It almost looks like it was painted with tea, with black tea, or it was done on silk. It has a really sensual quality on the surface. It says it's acrylic and ink, so the ink must be the transparent part of it, or maybe acrylic as well. But all of these little things that are happening in the background are really sweet. You don't see that at first, and you just see all these poppies that are posies that are very much alike. But when you look closer, there is a lot of variation in them, and it's a pleasing piece. Okay, this one is it's on acrylic on wood, and it's called Grand Fat. I'm not sure what that means, but this is very skillfully done. This person obviously is comfortable with the acrylic medium and has a lot of experience, and you can see that she struggled with this painting in a good way. There are a lot of colors underneath, and she kept layering and just I think responding to it like a conversation. And she's got this wonderful division of light and shadow, and it's just very well done. It's a beautiful piece. Okay, this one is entitled Winslow, and this is second place. I especially like the atmospheric perspective. It draws you in. You just want to come in on this path. And she's created some areas that are restful where you just don't have to bother, but they go with the painting. You come in, you see these little subtlety areas that aren't as light as what they are in the center of interest. So you kind of travel all around. She slows you down. She doesn't take you straight in, but she slows you down so that you can see all these beautiful nuances. This I thought was really an exquisitely beautiful piece. It's called See You, and it's acrylic on canvas. And I just want to draw attention to the details. What I liked about this painting is that every flower is a different size. They're all turned a different direction. They have a little bit different treatment. I love the way that maybe the light is coming through here. But we need this black or dark corner here. We need to have something to offset all these lights. And it creates a little mystery. This is beautiful down here. I just think the whole piece is real successful in terms of color harmony and movement and strokes, beautiful strokes. Okay, I almost overlooked this one, and I'm glad I didn't. It's when you, at first sight, you just see all of these pieces that are very similar. But if you start to look closely, you realize there's a lot of variation in here and a lot of subtleties. You start to notice the surface and the way that it's treated, all these surfaces and the reflection off of them. Very subtle, very difficult to do, and very difficult to hold your interest in a painting like this for the artist. It doesn't look tired. It looks like the person followed it through, had an idea, and executed it. And I like the way it goes from the darks to a little bit lighter. And I think, again, this was real important, this color, to warm it up. You have all these cools, and you have some warm rust, but then you have this wonderful rosy color with the rust in it as well. And it just knocked me out. It's great. So this is an honorable mention. I think what I liked about this piece in particular is the lost edges in the shadows and the colors in the shadows. Very interesting color in the darks. And then this wonderful passage here. You don't know quite what it is and you don't care, but it sets this truck off, it sets this off, and it's just what it needs. It's just beautifully done in there. And I'm a fan of lost edges anyway, and this one put them to good use. So this piece, of course, the perspective is off, and I'm not sure if it was intentional, but nevertheless, it had this feeling of Matisse, and it's just, it's well executed. I think the color choices are very good, and it's just a whimsical, kind of a happy painting that would be delightful to hang on your wall. All this is really nice too. There's such a variety of strokes, but there are restful areas, there are flat areas of color, and then there's details. So it's from the general to the specific. That's always a good idea. It's entitled Storm, and I thought the artist did an excellent job of creating a dark photograph with just the right amount of light and have all these wonderful colors in the shadows again. Rich. It draws you in, all these little points of light draw you in here to this center of interest, the light part of the water, and the sky is beautifully done as well. And then this little bit of warmth right here, again, to draw you in. Very nice photograph. I had to look at this piece for a long time. And I appreciate that it's traditional photography. So unlike many of these that are digital, you wonder about this. There's a mystery about it. What is all this stuff? And how did they get this ghost-like image in the background? And it drew me in, especially because it has my hometown here, Hatter, Montana. And it's just, not only what it is, which is so interesting and so imaginative, but it's the arrangement of darks and lights that was very successful as well. They come up around here, and this brings you back down. And I have to say a little bit about presentation. This person nailed it. I couldn't think of a more perfect frame. Very well done. This piece is a digital. So the artist chose to create this sort of mistiness. It suggests that maybe we're eavesdropping on a very intimate gathering place. So I like the subject matter, and I like the way all of the beaks are pointed a different direction. And there's a circular combination, composition that keeps taking your eye around. And then you take in all these subtleties. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love that. So all those abstract shapes in the water set off the representational subject matter here. All of this is so beautiful. Yeah. This one is titled Hey. I liked the elongated format. It seemed to be perfect for this. And I like the choice of these three kind of in a triangular shape here. And it's interesting how one of the otters is full, almost full size. The other is, maybe a third, and the other one just has a nose peeking out. It's a nice combination, and your eye kind of goes back and forth here. It's a nice separation of light and dark. These are rich darks, and then these grays, and the gray-blue. It has a real nice feeling about it.